Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here with a fantastic panel of experts who will be sharing their insights and experiences on the topic of mobile app engagement. Well, they'll be talking about both the strategies that work and the struggles to overcome. So before we dive in, let me get into some quick introductions. I will kick things off by introducing myself very briefly. So my name's Danielle, and I'll be moderating today's discussion. I lead product marketing at Paddle, a merchant of record that helps SaaS, AI, and app companies sell their products globally. And if the word merchant of record seems a bit abstract to you, think of us a bit like the App Store, but for the web. So we take web payments and take care of all the heavy lifting, like the app stores do with regards to tax, chargebacks, refunds, and billing support. So app developers can focus on growing and not on back office complexity. So I'm joining you today from London, from our Paddle HQ. I'd love to hear where you're all dialing in from. So if you want to share your locations, feel free to kind of add that to the chat. And without further ado, let me introduce you to our panel. So Massimo, perhaps if I pass to you first, so you can introduce yourself and let the audience know where you're joining from. And then once you're done, perhaps if you could just pass it along to the next speaker so we can keep the instructions flowing.
Sure. Thank you a lot. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Danielle, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Massimo, founder of MAF. So our focus has always been creating a positive value exchange between brands, app brands, and their user base by using rewarded ads, so rewarded videos, off rewards, anything that can turn advertising into discovery instead of just letting your user just watch ads. We call it loyalty programs because essentially we align user acquisition, product monetization to target your premium audience in the range of the 10 to 20% of the premium audience in order to increase their LTV and retention rate. I'm calling today from Italy. I'm Italian, the quarter of MAF, but usually I'm a digital nomad, so I travel around the world between Asia and Europe. That's it. I'll leave the words maybe to Elena if she want to continue.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here as well. My name is Elena. I'm leading the traffic sources department at the AdChampagne agency. AdChampagne is the digital mobile agency with a focus on performance marketing. We work globally, and I'm currently calling from Tallinn and ready actually to pass the speech to the next person.
Peter, perhaps you can take us through a brief info to you.
Yeah, I can. Hello, everyone. I'm Peter Shakirski from YouAppi. I'm a senior AdOps manager. I'm very glad and excited to be here. Joining today from Berlin, and by the way, I probably have a bit of similarity with Massimo because I'm also a nomad and not really staying anywhere for more than like a month or two. Probably we can catch up somewhere. YouAppi, we are driving engagement for and re-engagement for your mobile apps, working mainly with the gaming industry, but we are also operating in some other fields.
Amazing, perfect. And then lastly, Chartai.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chartai. I'm a key account manager of SocialPeta in our region. SocialPeta is a leading competitive ad intelligence platform for mobile marketers and e-commerce branding companies. So at SocialPeta, I partner with top brands and developers to decode market trends, optimize the advertising strategies, and scale the user growth with the real-time global data. So I'm thrilled to share actionable insights from our latest reports and latest data with you all today.
Amazing, perfect. Well, thank you very much, panel, for the round of introductions. Shall we get stuck in? So the topic itself, as you are all familiar within the kind of mobile app space, the market has never been more competitive. So winning doesn't just stop at getting users to download your app. We know that sustained growth relies on how effectively you keep those users engaged, coming back, and also finding value over time. So that means striking the right balance between acquisition, retention, and monetization. all the while, whilst obviously navigating all the new privacy standards that to continue to reshape the landscape. So in today's session, our panel will share what's working, where teams are running into some challenges, and how to build a growth strategy that lasts. So our goal today is to leave you with some fresh perspectives to take your engagement playbook to the next level. So if you have any questions for our panel, there is a Q&A button located within this Zoom environment. So please feel free to kind of add your questions along. If you have something specific for a specific speaker, you can address them specifically. If not, I will open it up to the audience, but we will reserve some time at the end for a Q&A. So to begin with, I've got a general question. I'm going to ask all of you this question one by one. So I will call you out to get a bit more of your insights. But when we talk about mobile app engagement, what does it really mean for you in your role? And what do you think the biggest challenge you face is in terms of keeping users active and coming back over time? And perhaps if I can hand that to Alina first.
Oh, yes. Thank you for your question. As I'm heading the traffic sources department at AdChampagne, my role actually has two parts. First, to analyze and select the right traffic sources for our clients and making sure we are following the media strategy. And second, ensuring we get the most out of our current launches and every network that we have already launched. And I would say with the expertise we have across different channels or different verticals like e-com, fintech, finance, gaming, wellness, and more, I see that in one form or another, engagement is always a part of KPI, and that's why we work closely with platforms in our media buying team to keep improving results on every step.
Amazing. Thank you, Alina. Peter, perhaps you'd like to share some insights from your experience.
Of course. So, well, as an ops manager in the retargeting company, driving mobile engagement is something that is, the main thing and the main goal in my role. That's, there's plenty of ways of keeping users active, from some email marketing, some push notifications, bringing new features, giving awards for being active, and so on and so forth. Of course, here I'll be an advocate for mobile retargeting. And this instrument is something that every mobile app should have in their portfolio. Well, speaking of challenges, it's really important to understand which users will give you the incremental value once you are working with the audience. In YouAppi, we are recommending and encouraging to our clients to start an incrementality test every time we are starting with the new activity. And this way, we will be able to understand together with the client which audience groups are working, are like worth working with as retargeting, and which groups will be driving the most incremental results and improve the app economy. And then we want to put our main focus on those users who are less likely to come back to the app without help of our channel.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, really interesting there. Like when you're choosing where to spend your money and spend it wisely, you want to be investing it in the right place. So thanks for that, Peter. Massimo, perhaps I can turn to you for some thoughts on some of the challenges you see.
Yeah, sure. So speaking about mobile engagement, I think there are tons of metric you can look at, the AU, session length, and so on and so forth. So it really depends on your type of app and the type of feature you want to implement in the app to increase the engagement. Personally, at us at MAF, we focus on public exchange, as explained before. So we try to create an economy for the user where actually there is a value for them to come back. We focus on rewards. I think the biggest example that everybody knows is the loyalty program from airlines. So airlines basically offer all the same services because you get from point A to point B with a airplane, essentially. But implementing a loyalty program then really helps them to retain the user for not just like days, as we are focusing on mobile apps, but we're talking about years or decades. So we're trying to essentially take this concept and bring it to mobile apps, and this is what engagement is for us. Regarding the challenges, very quickly, of course, like a loyalty program cannot be presented to the user in the very first session, the very first day, because it's going to make the user churn, which is what we don't want. So we need to wait that the user gets to this haha moment when they say, okay, I really understand what this app is worth for, what's the value, and then only there we can start advertising the loyalty program. So our challenge is trying to make this time spent as short as possible, so there are more users in the app and more users can benefit from the loyalty program itself.
Yeah, really interesting there. And interesting that kind of peak point as well, where you find that aha moment where you then get those kind of long embedded customers into that loyalty program. Amazing. Thank you, Massimo. And then Chartai, perhaps I can turn to you for some thoughts from your experience at SocialPeta.
Yeah, of course. So thank you very much for everyone with their thoughts. I will try to elaborate our perspective on engagement as a market intelligence tools. So we see engagement as an outcome of both acquisition quality and lifecycle marketing. So the creative that attracts user sets expectations and the product experience has to deliver on that the promise to keep them. So the biggest challenge today is the retention in a crowded and distracted market. So users have endless alternatives, low tolerance for friction, and high expectations for personalization. So with our latest data for 2025, it shows that although AI apps, for example, are releasing more creatives than ever, average ad spend per user is going up while stickiness is flat. So that tells us that installs are coming, but the loyalty is harder to earn. So to keep them users active and coming back, the key aligning three elements are for us is smooth onboarding that delivers the aha moment fast, and continuous personalizations and respectful monetization where the ads and paywalls feels like the value exchange, not the barriers. So for me, engagement isn't just about the time spent, it's about the trust and habit. So if users trust your app to deliver consistent value without frustration, they will return naturally. And that's the hardest but the most rewarding part of the job.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really interesting. No, it's great also to get some of that data and insights from what you're seeing through your channels as well. So thank you very much for sharing that. Certainly some things that can help to drive some real engagement, but lots of considerations along that journey as well as to how you keep that going in a very competitive market. Okay, I'm going to ask some specific questions just based on your experience. So perhaps if I can turn to you, Peter, first. So YouAppi is well known for its mobile app re-engagement campaigns. From your experience, what strategies work best to bring inactive users back into your app and then keep them engaged? And once they do return, what do you find is the most effective thing in turning them into loyal long-term users?
Very good question. I would say that as we are a mobile retargeting company, we are, mostly known for our mobile re-engagement campaigns. Informing users about some in-game events, providing them with some rewards for coming back. It's something that usually works good. And we can see many clients using strategies like this, and creative assets with some custom incentives are usually providing with better results than some generic ones. Well, it's always important to test multiple creative strategies and refresh them regularly. It's essential for retargeting specifically because as we are working with usually some restricted amount of users, we do not want to burn them attention. And with showing them, some same creatives over and over again. Well, message and audience also matters. Example, for gaming, you can serve some different creatives to a lapsed user, to a payer, or some new installer. And then like in travel, it could mean showing some seasonal destinations or deals based on the user content. It's also important to set a realistic connectivity window to tell us like after how many days the user won't be coming back to the app organically on average. And then it might be like 3-7 days. In some cases, it's higher. When there's like very tiny possibility that users are coming back to the app without any additional effort, we should step in and start working with them as retargeting, making them come back and engage with the app again. Some user groups, probably the most active ones, they do not require an additional help from retargeting. And same goes for ones that are less likely to make a conversion according to in-game patterns. It's important to target ones who will bring good results and not to target ones who won't do good. We want to focus our activity on groups that have like the highest potential to grow after bringing them back to the app. Well,
Amazing. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were about to say something else?
No. That's it from my side.
Okay, super. So what I'm reading there is like obviously making sure we're being very intentional about investing, making sure investment is in the users where you're likely to get the most amount of activation, most amount of engagement and have the highest potential. Amazing. Thank you, Peter. I'm going to turn to you now, Massimo. So MAF has been working closely with app developers to optimize both user acquisition and monetization. From your perspective, what are the key kind of challenges in turning newly acquired users into engaged revenue generating ones? And how do you go about building strategies that balance both the kind of short-term growth and the long-term user value?
Thank you for the question, Daniel. So definitely it's a challenge because you need to start with the alignment between the user acquisition team and the monetization team. Usually those team, if they don't share the same OKR, then they will look at what works for them. So user acquisition team will start trying to lower the CPI to buy the most cheap user possible. And the monetization team will just try to raise the LTV by increasing the number of ads. Of course, those two approach go in a different direction, no? Because not all the time the cheapest user are the most engaged or the one that you can monetize the most. Actually, it's probably never like that. So having a shared KPI is the first step. And then I think personally, our challenge is it's about understanding because we work with a lot of different apps. Every app has a different economy. So understanding where is the point where the user needs to turn from free user to a paid user. If it's a game, then we know that if the percentage of users that are buying, it's quite small, probably in the range of 5%, but those 5% are not accounting for all the revenue of the developer. So our goal with our offer wall is trying to give a sense of the premium experience to the 95% of users that never make an in-app purchase or never take a subscription in the case you're an app. Give them a sense, like a free trial of the premium experience by engaging with the offer wall. And then we saw that the number of users that decide to take a purchase after that, it's actually increasing by 20%. So if it was 5, it gets to 6 or 7% or things like that. Yeah, so that's our approach. But of course, it's a challenge because, as I say, you don't want to put. There is a lot of noise right now in the apps. There are a lot of features. You don't want to put all the feature, all the opportunity in the user from the very first session. So you need to create a funnel that works while preserving the retention. So being sure you're not going to churn too many users in the funnel.
Interesting. So like drip feeding them bits, not giving them everything at once that kind of creates too much noise and overwhelms them.
Little by little, and then being sure even non-payers will have a taste of a premium experience. Otherwise, they'll never decide to pay.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's a really interesting strategy there. I wanted to just ask you a further question actually around the KPI piece. It's really interesting that kind of, as you mentioned, your internal teams have slightly different angles and goals, and that kind of cheapest user isn't always the one that ends up returning the best lifetime value. One of the things that you raised in there is around having shared and aligned KPIs. What kind of KPIs do you normally align on? Have you seen that kind of friction between the internal teams? What kind of do you normally see as the kind of happy medium in terms of keeping people happy with those KPIs?
Yeah, so definitely you should have a KPI in terms of as a company, which usually it's the return over investment of your campaign. That's the most straightforward. But I think one KPI which aligns user acquisition and the monetization team is the retention rate. Retention rate is crucial to build a loyal user base. If you mix it with also the session time, then minimum retention rate and minimum session time will we really bring to work both of the teams in the same direction, because the user acquisition will try to have ads that are that showcase more the feature of the app and the benefit of the app. So they're not acquiring the lowest price, but they are acquiring the niche of user that might be more in target for your app or game, whatever. And the monetization will try to squeeze as much as the revenue as possible, but without disrupting the experience, or without having the user churn. So I think this is the most important metrics that can be shared between the both of the teams. That each team has a different one: monetization, LTV, or ARPDAU, and so on.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Çağatay, I'm going to turn to you now. So obviously from your experience with SocialPeta, from the ad creative side, what kind of patterns or formats do you see as most effective at driving deeper engagement, not just for downloads?
So thank you very much for this question. Regarding on our latest report on the half one of this year, at creative side on the mobile app, the shift we see is away from just driving installs toward to setting the right engagement expectations. So the most effective format for ad creatives are short form videos for mobile apps at the moment, especially like 15 to 30 seconds that don't just show the app interface, but to demonstrate a clear use case or outcome. So in fact, our data shows that 84% of app creatives, AI app creatives, especially in H1, were video, and the majority of that performed best were in that 15 to 30 second range. So if you ask for some examples from the market on the ad creative side, I can provide you two creative patterns that stand out. The first of these, like the real people storytelling and KOL endorsements. For example, solely an AI education app leaned heavily on short clips of students or influencers showing how it solves homework in seconds. So that approach helped their downloads surge by over 150% month-on-month in early 2025. And more importantly, it improved the long-term activity because the users came in already knowing how to use this app. The other example is, another pattern is feature-driven demos with before and after contrast. So in emerging apps like Meitu or Wing, ads that showed a photo instantly transformed by an AI outfit change or Ultra HD restoration didn't just bring installs, they primed their users to try those exact features once inside the app. So that's why we saw these apps consistently topping up App Store charts this year across the multiple regions. So it's important to provide the feature-driven demos with creatives. So that's all on my side. And if you have any questions about other patterns on your categories, you can ask me after the session.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that, Çağatay, and some impressive kind of uplift stats as well. 150% return. Certainly very good. Amazing.
Yeah.
Alina, I am going to ask you a question about your experience at AdChampagne. So you are head of traffic sources at AdChampagne. So you work with a wide range of channels for mobile apps. In your view, what's the key to selecting traffic sources that bring not only installs, but also long-term app engagement? And how do you go about measuring and adapting that when the quality of a source shifts over time?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Thank you. Here at AdChampagne, we position ourselves as a performance agency with a blend of creativity and data-driven approach. And I would say one of our advantages is that we do not focus on one or two standard channels. We instead have a wide portfolio, including, I would say, 100 plus traffic networks. And each time we adapt the mix of traffic networks to the client products, verticals, and clients' goals, of course. And for ourselves, we usually categorize networks into several groups. Social platforms like TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, premium in-app networks like Unity, Mintegral, or Iron Source, programmatic sources like Uploading or DSP platforms, OEM placements like Xiaomi, Petal ads, also known as Huawei App Gallery or Up Next. And of course, Google as a search platform. And when it comes to choosing the right mix, there are several factors matter the most. Budget. It's always a starting point, and if you're limited here, I would suggest to focus on a one channel with not too high entry cost, but the broad reach out like Facebook. And of course, geography matters, especially for social platforms, since targeting, precision, and creative resonance vary by region. And technical aspects also matter. For newer products, we always take a look at the MMP integrations and whether source allows optimization for deeper in-app events or revenue, not just installs. And also we take a look at verticals where the network is strong. We actively collaborate with platform managers to understand what's performing well on their side, and also we combine it with our own expertise and our past launches. I think our approach here after initial tests to keep around 60 to 70% of spend on proven, well-performing sources and allocating the rest of testing for new opportunities, especially when clients want to explore through the growth. And of course, as you mentioned, over the time, things can change, and the source that worked well or great may suddenly drop in quality. And to prevent that, we regularly refresh creatives on our side, and our in-house team makes it a bit easier. But honestly, the biggest thing here is communication. I would say even in 2025, with all the optimization we have around manager to manager thing, manager to manager feedback is still a key. And we share our KPIs with traffic partners. We are highlighting our problems, and very often on the traffic partner side, helps us to optimize from their perspective. And at the same time, we always double check the product itself. Did the app change, or is it seasonal, or just maybe the market shift? Sometimes, yes, channel just burns out and for a particular app. And when it happens, we increase testing budgets and move to other sources, which is the only right decision, of course. To sum up, continuous testing, market monitoring, and open dialogue with both clients and platforms. That's what can really drive you not only installs, but also long-term engagement.
Elena. No, that's really useful. And what I'm kind of hearing there is that if you're starting, there's obviously various channels you can look at, and that you should really kind of personalize that to the verticals that you operate within. But if you're starting small with budgets, then you're suggesting that people should really hone in on a channel first, rather than spreading their kind of smaller budget across all the different channels and prove it first. And then I'm also reading from what you were saying that you suggest that you spend up to 60 to 70% on things that you know will work, but also bake in some of that extra capacity to try testing. So that kind of 30 to 40% of experimental work to trial some different channels too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yes. I think that's
Amazing.
that's the general advice.
Yeah, indeed. No, perfect. That's great, and it's nice because there's advice there really for people with smaller to larger budgets too. So really appreciate. One thing that's coming through consistently through the conversations is how important kind of localization is, like geography and personalization in the experience too, and kind of not treating all verticals as being the same. Kind of really understanding that market and what's going to make those users see the value in the first place and keep them coming back. I think we've got, if anyone's got questions in the audience, please do feel free to add them in here. I've got one already, so I will turn to that shortly. In the meantime, I've got one question that I want to kind of pose to the entirety of the panel as well. So I'll ask you all individually. And feel free to expand beyond. You can either give a short answer or a slightly longer answer if you'd like, and if you might have more than one idea of things that will be helpful for this audience. But looking ahead, what's one strategy or trend or idea, or more than one, that you believe will really make the biggest difference in keeping mobile app users engaged next year? And I'm going to go first to Massimo, if that's okay.
Sure. That's great. I think there are probably plenty. The first one that I can think about is a big trend for the next year. It's definitely the mix between the engagement and monetization. I'll explain more in details. So we're used to apps that having a lot of different engagement feature like daily streaks or quests or things like that, which are always tied to feature in the app. For example, probably the biggest case is like Duolingo or similar app, which they tell you make a lesson every day, you can keep your streak. And then on the other side, we have monetization, which asks, like offerals, which ask the user to do an action outside of the app in order to earn some coins. So what we are seeing right now is the merge of these two features. So some developers, some brands, they are creating some kind of an offerable which combines external engagement and internal engagement. So they will mix like, and they use this for the user to discover a new feature of the app. For example, new quest like invite a friend and share a streak with him, to get some additional coins. But then they will mix with try another product and then get additional diamonds to spend in your next in-app purchase or power ups or things like that. So we are seeing a lot of partners which have usually been outside from any ads in their app to be more open to this type of feature of product, because it's where monetization becomes engagement for the user and helps the user to discover a new feature in the app, increase their retention, and stick longer, essentially. So we strongly believe that it's going to be a big trend for the next year or couple of years. So I'd suggest to keep an eye on that.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Massimo. Perhaps if I turn to you, Peter.
Well, it's actually our challenge to keep up and deliver good results and stay on leading position in very competitive mobile gaming re-engagement market. I would encourage everyone to test, to try to expand their marketing activities, not to stick to like one partner, but try many different either UA or retargeting channels, which will strengthen their portfolio and marketing activity. Exploring other strategies with different DSPs will allow you as an advertiser to find the most accurate setup and approach to bring the strongest and highest value from your marketing efforts. Well, exploring different DSPs will allow you to enjoy the benefits and technology which each of DSPs build. And we can, probably see incredible growth and development in many re-engagement strategies, including CTV, retargeting channel that's been recently introduced also in YouAppi, which is making users come back to mobile app, taking their attention in more traditional environment of connecting TV, which is given like more trust, and we can see amazing results coming from this channel. So
Amazing. Thank you very much, Peter. Chatay, perhaps you can share your thoughts around trends for next year.
So I thought a couple of things about the coming trends, but As I mentioned to you at the previous question, if I had to pick one, it would be like the rise of an AI-driven personalization at scale. So we are moving to past generic push notifications and static funnels into an experience where the apps adapts in real time to each user's behavior and context. So in our H1 report, the most successful apps from imaging tools to educational platforms used creatives that clearly preview personalized outcomes. And that same logic is extending in-app adaptive onboarding, dynamic offers, and content recommendations tuned to each users. So looking ahead to next year, I think I believe that the biggest difference will come from the combining predictive analytics with the generative AI. So imagine an app that not only knows you are likely to churn, but can automatically create a right piece of content, offer, or message to bring you back, all in real time. So that's where the engagement is headed, smarter, more human-feeling personalization without crossing the line into the intrusive. So I think the AI-driven personalization is going to be next thing.
Amazing. Thank you very much. You also mentioned a report that throughout this, you've given some really good insights. Is this a report that's available for the market now, Chartai? Is this something
Yes.
that, yes, amazing.
Yes, you can find it out on our website, or you can just send me a DM on LinkedIn. I will share the report with you. Yeah.
Amazing. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Chartai. And finally to you, Alina. So in your view, what do you see as the biggest kind of opportunities or trends for next year?
Or I'm staying here on the same side, and I would say that the biggest trend for the nearest future is automatization and optimization. The market is changing so fast, and I think talking about AI isn't even a trend anymore. It's already our reality. And what's next is a optimization and optimization on every level, like creative production and voiceovers, campaign launches, which we already do in AdChampagne, and as well as deeper analytics around user engagement. I think that's the only way we can really keep pace with the market.
Amazing. Perfect. Some really good nuggets of insight there. So appreciate you sharing your thoughts for next year. We have got some questions that have come through. So let me just take a look at the webinar chat. So the first question we have is creatives evolve fast. We see trends like UGC style ads, interactive playables, and AI generated assets. Which of these formats do you think has the strongest long-term potential for sustaining user engagement post-install, and why? Anybody on the panel that would like to share their thoughts?
I think I can provide an
Perfect.
answer for this question. So all the three formats have their place, but if I had to bet one of them in the long-term engagement, I would pick UGC style ads. Here's why. Because authenticity builds trust, and some of the fastest growing apps on the market leaned heavily on UGC style videos, as I mentioned to you some examples on the previous answers. Real students and influencers are showing how to use apps to users on the creative. So these are provides good users for you to engage in the previous place. And the second of all, the interactive playables are also powerful, especially in gaming, because you get the experience before the install with the playables, but in the mobile app side you also get the experience about the product on the ads. So that lets users to overcome to some pre-thoughts about the outcomes of the positive things about the app. So The third one is AI-generated assets. So these are great for speed and variety. So we are seeing them compress the creative iteration cycles. Especially lately, I've seen like all the search charts includes the AI-driven and AI-generated creatives. But alone, they do not guarantee deeper engagement unless paired with relatable human narrative. So my view is UGC style ads are the the strongest end-to-end impact, and it tracks sets the right expectations and creates a bridge between the ad promise and in-app experience. So if you want to users not just install but stay active, nothing beats this. Seeing someone like them using the app and benefiting from it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. By the way, when I ask these questions, if anyone wants to jump in with some other things afterwards, feel free to. We've got a few more questions that have come in. So Mary has asked, with so many traffic channels, scaling can be risky. So what's your approach to testing and validating new sources before allocating bigger budgets? And how do you ensure consistency in user quality across markets?
I think I can handle it.
Okay.
As I already shared some information about our approach to testing. Okay, so what about scaling and validating new traffic sources before allocating bigger budgets? As I already mentioned, you always, my opinion, is stay focused on best performing, well-performing sources first. If you see that one or two channels are stable, you can move forward for more tests. And in this case, as I already mentioned, we can allocate around 30% of budget for new tests. And depends on the source, of course, because if you're working with uploading, for example, they require you to spend more and to test at least 1 month of campaign running to see first results, because it's a programmatic channel and it needed more budget. So if you don't want to risk, do not start with to work with programmatic first. Try to test social networks or small channels or DSP platforms or Google Ads, and when you're seeing results, you can increase your budgets. And also there was a question how to ensure consistency in user quality across the markets. It's always about the balance, I think so. I think user engagement at all is about the balance between time, budgets, and quality. So there is no simple answer, just testing, I guess so. And balancing between one network on one market and other, maybe more local networks in other markets.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Alina.
I think,
And just, sorry, go on,
if I
please
can add
do.
something on that, I definitely
Yeah.
agree with Alina regarding keeping the maximum 30% of the budget to testing your sources, because otherwise the campaign is at risk. But I would say it really depends on the LTV prediction that you can develop for your app or game. So I would suggest to invest a lot into analyzing the data and creating a model that can predict the LTV for a year, even with 7 days of data. So in that case, you could test many new sources with a very limited budget. And if your algorithm is quite accurate, you can understand if you're going to have the return or not. Another way would be also segmenting the sources by type. So we know some sources are very similar to another, and maybe we have experience, we have data with the latter, so we can use their model, the curve of the LTV and retention rate to estimate what kind of results we're going to have with the new source that we want to add to the mix.
Amazing. Thanks, Massimo. Actually, a slight extension on that question too, that we're talking about what kind of periods or lengths of trials are we doing with regards to experimentation? So how long would you, in your kind of experimentation bucket, how long would you leave things to run before you could ascertain whether or not they were returning good results?
Elena, you want to first?
Yeah, I can go first.
Yes.
It depends on the traffic network, but I would say at least 2 weeks and up to 4 weeks or even a few months for programmatic networks who requires more budget to spend. That's the shortest answer. And Massimo?
Pretty on point. I think it really depends on the source, and it really depends on how you are sensitive to spending the budget. If you have very limited one, you need to keep as short as possible. If you can be more relaxed, it's definitely better, because if you test longer, you can really make things work. So you're gonna have a more solid and healthy user acquisition split between a lot of different channels, but it will require you to spend budget, which not all the company can do. So it really depends on your product and your UA budget.
Amazing. Thank you very much. We've got another question here. So how do you see the relationship between creative ads and performance marketing operations in driving consistent UA growth? I've noticed that some apps with relatively simple features manage to sustain steady campaigns, often running the same ads for a long time, while others with more advanced offerings experience more fluctuation, ups and downs. What best practices or frameworks have you seen that ensure cohesion between creative and performance for long-time growth? I know it's a broad topic with many variables, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on creative experimentation and building sustainable UA.
I think I can provide some answers for this question.
Amazing. Thanks, Sharto.
It's a broad topic, and it's a great question. So this question goes directly to heart of why some apps grow steadily while others ride a roller coaster. So in my view, a relationship between creative ads and performance marketing is a feedback loop, not two separate silos. So we have seen that apps with relatively simple features, say like a scanner app or lightweight utility, often sustain campaigns with fewer creatives because their value proposition is crystal clear. A single strong ad can run for months without fatigue. But for more advanced offerings like AI-driven education or health apps, the message is more complex, and users needs to diverse, including specifications. So that's why campaigns fluctuate more. They need ongoing creative refreshers and tighter alignment with the performance signals. So I can provide some few best practices I can highlight, like they can use creative experimentation framework, like creatives like A/B test, creative like product, A/B test creative aggressively and retire the weak assets fast, and document the learnings so every cycle has their own experience and compounds. The second is performance and creative integration. So have performance marketers sitting on creative ideation and vice versa. Data should directly inspire the next creative concepts. You can use platforms like us on that process as well. The lifecycle KPI alignment is also important. So do not optimize for CPI alone. Judge creatives against the downstream metrics like day 7 retention or subscription conversions. So that ensures that the ad sets the right expectations upfront. The last best practice I can highlight from my experiences is predictive fatigue modeling. So use tools and AI to forecast when an ad is likely to burn out. So you can refresh the before performance tanks. So to me, the sustainable UA growth comes from this mindset. Ads are not just in front door banners. They are the first step of the product experiences. So when the creatives and performance teams operate as one, you avoid the trap of the short-lived spikes or build campaigns that actually scale. So that's all on my side.
Amazing. Thanks, Chato. Super.
Thank you.
There we go. We've got a love heart emoji coming up in the chat as well. So the answer was obviously very good. There we go. And a thumbs up. Super. We've got a last question here around, as acquisition costs continue to rise, many publishers struggle with early stage retention. What's the most effective lever to improve early retention without overspending on incentives? Who would like to share their thoughts there?
Well,
Thanks,
that's
Massimo.
I can try to take it. That's an interesting question. I need to understand what the attendee means, like overspending on incentives, because most of the time the incentives doesn't need to be monetary incentives for the user, but they can just be gratification. I made the example before about Duolingo. You actually get nothing by keeping your daily streak, but there are people with 2-3 years daily streak there. You don't even get a bonus monetary, but you don't even get a bonus inside the game. There's nothing essentially. Or maybe I didn't get to that point yet because I'm just 300 days streak for now. But yeah, so I would say you should focus on incentives that give the user gratification, customization in their UI, in their app icon, for example. If you have a game exclusively in-app items that will not cost you anything, but they will make the user more engaged and happier. And then I think it's really hard to say which one of the retention techniques works the best, because it really depends on the type of app or game, on the product. So I'd say just test all of them, put them in order based on your vertical, test them and see which one gives the best result for your app.
I
Amazing.
actually
Thanks,
agree.
Massimo.
I actually
Yeah.
agree. As far as I'm mostly working with the games, the most of incentives are actually like free for the app. You can be given like some amount of coins or gems or whatever is your in-game currency like every week, and you can be given like a lot of it every week or like every 2 weeks if it brings like more attention, more retention, more engagement, more purchases within the app. If it is something free for you, just allowing, as Massimo said, to have user have like a bit better experience, like a bit of experience of the paying user, like not something that is like a real like discount on a product or something like kind of 3 days in a hotel, whatever. It's just something free in the app that makes user experience better. Just give it to him.
Actually, Peter, one thing that it's really interesting that when you start testing, A/B testing, also on the amount of coins that you give back to the user, in the example of games, so you just bring this to the attention, you'll see that the difference in giving 10,000 or coins to the user or giving them 100 coins,
Yep.
it's not that big actually. It's not that big. So user will just engage based on the fact that there
Yep.
is a bonus to get. So they just want to complete everything, have all their quest page fully green, full completed. So I'd say if you have a bounty of 10K to give to the user, don't make one
Yep.
event, one quest, just distribute across a lot of different
Yep.
small and micro interaction.
100% agree. By the way, I'm on 666-day streak in Duolingo since yesterday, as far as you mentioned here, 300.
Wow, man.
And well, yeah. And also, I would like to mention that, well, in our case, many advertisers are doing something like tiers. Let's say some users are high valuable for the app. Some users are like medium value based on what they did purchase or some other patterns within the app. How much did they spend? How much time did they spend? How many levels did they achieve? And based on that, apps together with us are segmenting the users based on like what incentives we want to give to the user. Like if user spend like some specific amount of money or time within the app, in the past, we want to give him like big amount of free coins. If he spent like just a little, some medium amount or small amount of the free coins will be good and driving him back to the app.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And you're both, yeah, go on. Sorry, you're about to say, Massimo.
Sorry, Daniela. I think everybody in the crowd wants to know which language you're learning, Peter.
Well, what is that? There's German, there is Italian. Well, yeah, there's Italian. Lingua Italiana.
Italian, I can help you with that. I can help you with that.
Would be absolutely good, yeah.
You're both actually putting me to shame. I'm actually only on my 53-day streak, so I took up learning Spanish.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Keeping it going. But there's definitely that gratification. I can definitely attest to that. Every morning, my 2 lessons is my first thing that I do with my coffee before the gym. So really appreciate your insights. I know that we're coming close on time. I can't see any more questions that have come in. So are there any kind of final thoughts from anyone on the panel that they'd like to share before we close out? No, perfect. In that case, I just wanted to say a big thank you to SocialPeta for hosting us today. So thank you very much to Tracy, who you can't see, who's behind the scenes, and to Chartai for leading this really important discussion. I've had fun having a chat with you all. It's been really interesting hearing your insights. Perhaps I can ask the panelists just to leave their contact information, email or LinkedIn in the chat, just so that if anyone's got any other follow-up questions, they're able to kind of contact you directly. And I'll do the same as well. So if you wouldn't mind, panel, just kind of adding your contact details in the chat. I'll make sure you've got time to do that. There we are. Perfect. Super. I should give it a couple more seconds. Everyone's got the chance to put their details in.
Well, just 1 second. I'll do that.
There we are. All very last minute. I think we're there now. Okay, super. Well, it's been amazing. Like I said, I hope that you all have a fabulous day and you've learned a lot from our experts on this panel with regards to some of their strategies at work and how to drive better user engagement for your mobile apps. So thank you all very much and have a good day.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you.
Thank you very much for having us here.